project that involves interviewing old-time residents of Highland to find out what life was like back in the day. Today's date is Thursday, September 20th, 2012. We are interviewing Leland Kopps at his home in Cobb, Wisconsin. The interviewers are
Karen McManus,
Christian Schimmick,
Alexis Smith, and Katie Ramsden.
Could you just say that he's here with his wife, Helen Kopps?
And he is here with his wife, Helen Kopps.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
what is your full name?
Louder, Karen.
What is your full name?
Pardon?
What is your full name, she's asking?
Leland Virgil Kopps.
Were you named after anyone?
Were you named after anyone?
I don't think so.
No.
When and where were you born?
You have to talk a little louder because I can't hear you good.
When and where were you born?
When and where were you born?
I was born northeast of Highland on north of Spring Valley Road. And when I was 6 months old, my parents bought the farm on the south side of the road, and we lived there all our lives. We still got the farm there, but we aren't living there right now.
Oh, so you still have the farm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your parents' names? What were your parents' names?
Your parents' names?
John Kopps was my dad, and my mother was Cora Stringel.
How do you spell your last name?
Kopps.
K-O. Okay. B-N-U.
what did your parents do for a living?
They farmed. They farmed there all their lives. I farmed there, had milk cows, and then when the kids got to going to college, I didn't want to milk cows anymore, so I went into beef. Then I started hauling milk, and I hauled milk for 14 years. And I retired from that. And I worked at the canning factory until they closed up.
Where was the canning factory?
Cobb here.
Did you like growing on a farm? Did you like growing up? Did you like growing up on a farm?
Yeah, it's a nice place to grow up.
What did you like the best?
Huh?
What did you like the best?
What I like the best? Well, I don't know. I like to milk cows and stuff, but do the farm work. When let's see, when my dad had a bad heart, so my brother was married and my sister was married, so I got stuck on the farm.
Stuck on the farm.
But we later got married to Helen, and we had a good life. Had 2 children and 5 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren now.
How did you milk?
Pardon?
How did you milk the cows? How has that changed?
We milked them by hand for years until we had electricity, and then we got milking machines and hung them on the cows and attached them. They did the milking, but you still had to work of putting them off and on, so it wasn't no easy job either. But as soon as it was big enough, we had to help milk.
So about how old were you when you started milking cows by hand?
Oh, 7 or 8, I suppose.
That's young.
Yeah.
How
Did
did
you
you
milk cows too?
What's that?
Did you milk cows too?
Oh, at home, I'm
Yeah.
from South Dakota,
You're from South Dakota.
and so I milked lots of cows by hand for a long, long time too. And we got a milking machine afterwards then too.
So what brought you to Wisconsin?
Huh?
What brought you to Wisconsin?
You do.
All right, Leland, good job.
We came out there, I guess, and then we met out there. That's the way it ended up.
How did you do field work?
Well, first, we used to had a plow plow one furrow at a time, and that's the way we got the ground plowed, and then we had a disc horse pull the disc, and then after a while I bought a tractor and a machinery to go along with it, and then things went faster.
Do you remember the year you got your first tractor?
1945, I think.
45.
Yeah.
What kind of tractor?
Massey Harris.
What kind of crops did you plant?
You have to look at them and say it louder.
What kind of crops did you plant?
Oh, planted oats and corn and seeded alfalfa down, and that was about it. And then
Did you butcher your own meat?
pardon?
Did you butcher your own meat?
Did you butcher your own meat?
Yeah.
Was that a big job?
Well, every year we butchered three or four hogs, and then you had a big kettle. We heated water. You had to have a lot of hot water. And then after you got the hogs dead, then we dumped them in that hot water and then scraped the hair off them and hung them up and took the insides out and left them hang up till they were cooled. And then we cut them up into, made sausage and all kinds of stuff, canned some of the meat. And
How many
ham,
times a year did you do that?
Just once a year
Once
in
a
the
year?
winter time. The hams and bacon we put in a jar and covered them with salt and brown sugar. Can you hear me?
Yep. Yep.
And they left them in there for about 6 weeks. Then we hung them up, and after they got dried off, we took them over to the neighbors, and they had a smokehouse, and hung them there and smoked the meat, and it would keep all summer that way then.
You forgot about butchering the beef. You had to have beef to make summer sausage.
Yeah, we butchered the beef too.
We made our own
That-
summer sausage and dried
that-
beef and all those
That
things.
beef you had to skin. Took
Yeah,
the,
beef you had
took
to
the
skin
skin
that.
off of it. Now we'd have to hang that up too and let it hang after we got it dressed out.
So you probably didn't have refrigeration at that time.
No, we didn't have no freezer or nothing then, because we didn't have electricity.
We had the freezer in town though. We took,
Well, that didn't have that right away neither.
no, we didn't have that, but afterwards we took it to town before we got our own freezers.
And just kept it there.
Big, yeah, a big place where you,
Locker
somebody
plant.
had, it was Oren Swingle. I don't know if you know Oren Swingle. Had that refrigeration building in town.
That was right in Highland?
Uh,
Oh, okay.
Oren had that, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was called what?
Locker plant.
Lager plant, that's right.
Did you have a garden?
A garden.
Yeah, I always had a big garden. Potatoes and everything that goes along with it.
So what all did you plant in it?
Potatoes and potatoes and potatoes, I bet.
Potatoes and carrots and beans and
Peas and
broccoli and cabbage and tomatoes and
cauliflower.
all that sort of stuff.
Did you have indoor plumbing?
Pardon?
Did you have indoor plumbing?
Indoor plumbing.
Indoor plumbing.
Not for a
Did you have
while.
indoor plumbing?
Not right away.
No.
Not.
Didn't have indoor plumbing until we were married. We were married in 47.
Married in 47. You've been married for quite a few years then.
I was born in 1920.
1920.
65 years.
That's great.
Did you have a refrigerator?
Pardon?
Did you have a refrigerator?
A refrigerator?
You kind of answered that question already, so let's go on to the next one, okay? Katie?
It's my turn. As a kid, did you have any chores?
When you were a kid, did you have any chores?
Yeah, we had chores. We had to take care of the chickens, and morning and night we had to get out and get the cattle in for milking, and then milk them. And when I went to high school, I milked the cows first, and took the milk to the cheese factory. Then I came home and had breakfast, got ready, and drove myself to school. And we had old 24 Chevrolet truck. So we had to get up early enough to get all that done so we get to school in time.
What do you think of that, Katie?
That's a pretty good answer.
Helen, did you have any chores as a kid?
Oh, yeah.
What did you have to do in South Dakota?
Lots of chores, yeah. I milked cows and I fed chickens and gathered the eggs and and even fed the horses and the cattle, you know, milk cows. Even cleaned the barn.
Yeah, that we had to do.
A lot of hard things I had
Yep.
to do. Used to shock a lot of grain and fodder.
You were a real farm girl.
Like that?
You were a real farm girl then.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't really I didn't enjoy it very
No?
Did you get an allowance?
Huh?
Did you get an allowance?
An
Did you-
allowance?
They want to know, did you get an allowance? Did you get paid for doing your chores?
Oh, got all we wanted to eat. And I was lucky in them hard, was depression years, and it was hard going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were thankful to get a nickel when we went to town to buy an ice cream cone. Or a candy bar. You could get a candy bar at that time for a nickel.
Really?
Big.
Get one
We've
for
heard a
me.
dime, but we haven't heard a nickel yet, so.
Oh.
Get much for a nickel anymore.
No, that's for sure.
So if you didn't have an allowance, what did you do for spending money?
I don't know, we didn't worry too much about that. I used to work for the neighbors a little bit, mow their lawn and stuff, and help the lady with her garden. So that I got 50 cents a day for doing that.
50 cents a day, you guys.
Yeah.
You come work for me for 50 cents a day,
Yeah,
Kristen? You
yeah,
would?
yeah.
Good.
Money doesn't matter much to me.
Well, that's good. Go ahead, Katie.
What was the hardest thing about living on a farm?
Huh?
What was the hardest thing about living on a farm?
Oh, I don't know. I never thought it was hard. We neighbors always got together, and that was a lot of fun. In the winter time, we didn't get no drive cars because the roads were never plowed, and we would go to the neighbors and with the horses and the sled, and we went all around to the neighbors. They was invited for supper, and then the men played cards and us kids played upstairs. We had fun doing that too.
Did you go to church?
Pardon?
Did you go to church?
Go to church? Yeah, I sure did. Every Sunday.
Never missed church on Sunday. And in between, whenever Lenten services or whatever, we went to all of those things as long as we were able. Now we aren't able to go all the time. Once in a great while.
So, what did you do for fun while growing up?
Huh?
What did you do for fun while growing up?
Kind of told you a little bit of what you
Yeah.
did for fun.
Oh,
So you went to the neighbors. And
yeah. Used to play cards after we got old enough.
It's a card playing crew around here.
Playing sometimes we played games outside, like drop the handkerchief, or when we go to school, we used to play ante over the schoolhouse.
And the eye over.
Yep. You've played those games, Katie? Yeah.
After the crops was planted, then was about time we started making first crop hay. And cut the hay down and then rake it into windrows. And then we had a
She was about to ask a question. I
That's
guess
okay.
You're getting ahead of yourself.
Go ahead.
I don't think of it here. We had a, I can't think of it now. Anyway, it elevated the hay. We hooked it behind the wagon on, elevated the hay into the wagon until the box was filled as high as it could get it. Then we'd take it down to the barn, and then had a track and a thing that run on the track, and the used to pull it out, and then the fork would drop down. And when my mother used to set the fork, and then one of us kids, we would have horses behind the barn, and we'd pull the hay up into the barn till my dad would holler stop, and then they would trip the hay and dump it into the barn, then pull it out and keep on till the hay was off. Got off the wagon and go back and get another load until it was all picked up.
So when did you start baling hay?
Start baling, maybe like 45 or 46, something like that.
Before we were married.
Huh?
You have it before we were married? The baler.
I'm not sure.
We were married in 47, you know.
Yeah. Somewhere to that time anyway.
Okay.
So that's after we got a baler, then Gary used to drive the tractor, and we had a round baler, and it dumped them on the ground, and then somebody had to pick them up and put them on the wagon. And Gary was big enough he could drive the tractor.
Is Gary your son?
Yeah.
Okay.
We got Gary and Julie,
Okay.
our son-in-law.
Yeah, he didn't like farming, but he had to do some of it. He growing up too.
That's right.
And they got a better job than farming, I guess.
Right now? Now he's not farming he's not
No,
farming. Yeah.
He's living in Las Vegas.
Oh,
He's administrator for the power company out there.
well, that would be a very good job. All right, go ahead, Karen.
What'd you get for Christmas?
Pardon?
What did you get for Christmas?
As a kid, what kind of gifts did you get for Christmas?
Oh, I don't know, a little bit of something, but never got too much of anything. Some little tractors or cars or stuff like that.
Go ahead.
Did you ever go on vacation with your family?
Vacation?
Yeah. Probably not, but
Well, not too much. We'd go on picnics and stuff like that. But never. One time we did go up to my mother's brother and up in Cumberland, Wisconsin. We went up there for a week, visited with them.
That must have been a big trip.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it was for them older cars we had.
Yeah. Karen, go ahead.
Did you ever go to Madison as a kid?
Well, after I was big enough to drive, we went to Madison. Now, I don't drive anymore. They took my driving privileges away.
That happens. Go ahead, Karen. You can ask the next question.
Where did you go to school as a kid?
To go to school.
Yep.
Strawberry School, right along Highway 80 out there. Somebody living in the house there now, made a house out of it.
did you walk to school?
Yeah, we walked to school.
About how many miles?
2 miles.
2 miles. What?
I remember when my grandfather got kicked in the head by a horse, and then my aunt and my mother was down there helping take care of him, and my aunt had a daughter, Leland, and we had to keep her up to our place because they didn't want too much noise around, and then we had to go to school and we had to take her along. Sometimes she didn't want to walk, and then we had to carry her.
How many kids were in your school?
Pardon?
How many kids were in the school?
Oh, there was about 40 in school at that time. Was a lot of kids in the all 8 grades, you know.
How many in your class?
How many in my class?
Yeah.
I gotta think.
About.
Oh, maybe 8.
Did you have a favorite subject?
Did you have a favorite subject in school? Math, reading? What was your favorite subject?
Oh, I don't know. I like math pretty good.
No, that's my bad one.
That wasn't your, what was your favorite subject?
Spelling. I think
Spelling.
Spelling. Oh, reading, I like reading and spelling, and
Okay.
I helped the teacher with a lot of different small classes with their lessons.
Now, where did you go to school?
In South Dakota.
Yeah, was it like a one-room schoolhouse?
Oh, yeah.
Also, yeah.
It was a big school there. It was a new school.
Uh-huh.
They had just built it because I don't know what happened to the other one, but they
Okay.
built a new one, and there was a lot of us in school.
Yeah.
We didn't go to kindergarten. We went to 1st grade right away. My sister and I started school together, so I was a little bit younger. And then when we was in first grade, then the teacher, at the end of the year, she gave us some stuff to read, and she said, my sister and I and our neighbor girl, that she would move us into third grade next year, because she thought we was better than what the rest of the kids were, so she didn't want to hold us back. So we did this 8 grades in 7 years in country school, and then we went to high school.
And high school, you went to Highland then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what was it like going to Strawberry School to Highland High School, which was probably a bit bigger?
Oh, it's quite a change. And us country kids that go to town, and the town kids thought we was kind of dumb, I guess, and they all stuck together. Of course, they all went to, most of them in Highland went to St. Anthony's School, except those that weren't Catholic, then they went to the public school. But
What was Main Street Highland like when you were a kid?
Main Street of Highland, how was it like when you were a kid?
oh, it was a dirt.
It was a little busier than it is today, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Was it a little busier than it is today? Or not? Were there a lot more businesses?
Yeah,
But it was dirt when you were a kid?
dirt. Yeah.
Really?
Summertime it get dusty, then they sprinkle it, settle the dust down.
Was there a place on Main Street you visited a lot?
Pardon?
Was there, on Main Street, did you visit any place a lot?
Were there any stores you went to a lot?
Oh,
Or what kind of stores were there?
well, the first one on the top of the hill was a grocery store. And next to that was a hardware store. And then you went down, was a ice cream shop and a barber shop down the street. And let's see what else was down there. Let me get my book out and then I can tell you.
Do you remember a movie theater at all?
Not
Movie theater?
until
No?
1948, I think.
Okay.
I don't know if I can see anything here. Down below that was a drugstore and one time there was a furniture store. And,
What happened to it all?
well, they run out of, didn't sell enough stuff and they couldn't make enough. The Depression came along and they lost out. That's all there was to it. There was a hotel where the post office is now. There was a hotel there that burned down. And there was a big, I called it a department store down the street. They sold clothes and men's clothes and women's clothes. And they sold groceries and that burned down too.
A lot of fires.
I don't know. They didn't have no way of fighting them, I guess. Or I don't know how they got started in the first place.
What did people do for a living? What did people do for a living during the time you were growing up?
What did people do for a living? Were most people farmers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
most people were farmers. Everybody had a farm now. Maybe 120 acres or something like that. Where now their farms are one big farm or nothing.
Yeah. That's right.
But when we got through with the first haying, then had to cut grain, and then we had a grain binder that had a sickle, and then it had aprons in it that run round, and that carried the grain would fall on that would carry them up into and down. When they get a bunch up into there, then it would trip, and there was a needle with string, and they would go and tie a knot, and then they'd dump the bundle out,
Okay.
and it was a carrier on the grain binder to carry them till you had 4 or 5 bundles, and they'd dump them on the ground. And every time you come around, you dumped them in the same place. And one of my dad, he would start shocking. He'd set up 6 bundles, 2 side by side, and then take one bundle and put it on top. And that kept from the rains soaking down into the heads of
Okay.
the grain.
Mhm.
So then after a couple of weeks, then it was dry, then this neighbor had a thrashing machine. They went around to all the neighbors and thrashed the grain. And some had to come with rack wagons and haul the bundles in, and some hauled grain to the granary, and some built this straw stack, and that's the way it went.
So neighbors helped neighbors.
Neighbors helped neighbors. And then that one neighbor we had, they had their own thrashing machine, and it was, it wasn't,
Like your mouth.
huh? Old thrashing machine. It didn't have a feeder on like the newer one did. It had a platform in the back, and the man, he would stand there and had to feed it by hand, and then somebody had to cut the bands on the bundle, so because they didn't, otherwise they wouldn't go through the thrashing machine. So I usually got that job of standing there behind all that dirt and dust and cutting the bands for the fellow, and he'd grab them and keep grabbing them. You had to be careful that it didn't cut him in the hand. And
So was that a fun day? Wasn't much fun, huh?
not really, but I guess we thought we was pretty big when we could do that, you know.
Yeah.
How come you had to cut the bale, cut the twine? We didn't at home. We just threw the bundles into them.
Well, it didn't have no self-feeder, and it didn't have no knives in there. You had to cut and spread them out so they could shake the grain out of the.
Yeah, well, we had a thrash machine too, but
Uh-huh.
and it separated the grain
everybody
from the
else
straw,
had.
and the straw went out on the.
Everybody else had a thrashing machine with a self-feeder. All they had to drive up and throw bundles in, and they went through. But
Not
this,
not
they
this
didn't.
one.
You had to feed it by hand. So
Okay.
they dropped the bundles on that table, and you cut the bands off, and then the fellow, he'd grab it and send it down in there and grab the next one. It had to keep going fast because the bundles kept coming.
Yeah.
I even threw bundles in the thrash machine. had to do that job too.
Did you have brothers?
Huh?
Did you have any brothers?
3 of them.
But you did the work, huh?
I didn't know that. Maybe why I'm the oldest of the family.
Oh, okay.
Of 5 of us. I'm the oldest,
Yeah.
and I'm the only one living now.
That probably made a difference.
They worked pretty hard too.
I'm sure they did.
Worked too. It took all of us to do it.
Yep.
Here's some pictures from Highland. One of them in that book. I don't know, maybe you've seen that book already.
I don't know if we have that one. Who has the next question?
When the depression hit, how did it affect your family?
What?
When the depression hit, how did it affect your family?
When the depression hit, how did it affect your family? Did the depression affect your family at all? It must have affected everybody.
Yeah.
Were you better
Well,
off on the farm than if you lived in town, do you think?
We was on the farm and we had raised our own food at least.
Yeah.
Had the garden and we had animals to butcher, and that way you
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to buy so much stuff.
Did it affect any other families in the area?
Well, some lost their farms and this and that. We lost our farm too. My dad bought it right after the World War I, and the prices were so high, and then he couldn't pay it, so he left to go back, and after a while, in the around the 40s, the farmland wasn't worth much. They bought it back again.
Same farm.
Same farm. We rented it up until then, and then we bought it. That's been ever since that.
Common story.
What is your most vivid memory from the depression?
What do you remember most about the depression?
Well, we didn't have any money, I know that.
No, we
That's
sure
a big one.
didn't have any money, that's for sure.
When we went to school, we had one pair of pants to wear, I guess, and got washed on the weekend.
Yeah?
Yeah, that's the way it was. We had one dress for school. It got washed on the weekend and wore it next week again.
Yeah. Katie, do you have some questions?
The dust storm is what I remember most of the drought years, 1930s, and then during the drought years, they had a lot of dust storms there too.
Oh, in South Dakota, yeah.
Oh, terrible, yeah. It was
So what was that like?
That was awful. Dust that thick in the windowsills, and you had to sweep it out. Yeah,
That was awful.
it was no good at all.
Yeah.
That's about the worst thought I've had of
Yeah.
drought years. And hardly anything to eat. Couldn't feed cattle, we had to sell cattle, and hogs we sold, 10 cents a piece.
Do you remember the day Pearl Harbor was bombed? Do you remember the day Pearl Harbor was bombed?
The
Pearl
day
Harbor.
Pearl Harbor was bombed. Do you remember that
Well,
day?
I sure do.
Yeah, me too.
Were you scared?
Well, I don't know that was scary, but wasn't anywhere near us here.
Was far away from us, that's why I guess we weren't so afraid as if we'd been a lot closer. Yeah, we knew it wasn't good, but we went on with our work. We didn't, make anything of it.
Yeah, that was. I remember we was going to church when we heard of it.
Go ahead.
Did you have any family members that served in World War One?
2.
2? I have 2.
Did you have any family members that served in the war?
World War II.
Not really.
No. Go ahead,
My
Katie.
father was drafted in, but I guess he didn't get to go. His health or whatever,
Okay.
he didn't
Yeah.
pass.
Go ahead, Katie.
Do you have any memories of what things were like here during the time of World War II?
Maybe ask the next question, Katie.
I'm sorry.
Were there things like rationed during World War II that you remember? Were there things that you weren't able to get?
Oh, yeah.
Or what
Sugar.
kind of things were rationed?
Couldn't get sugar or
Sugar?
flour. Flour was even hard to get.
We
My
used a
dad
lot of
used to-
syrup then.
You used a lot of syrup in place
Well,
of
we used
sugar?
syrup, but it didn't get a lot, but it was all rationed.
Okay.
You could only get a certain amount because we had rationing stamps that you could.
My dad used to take wheat down to they had a mill where they ground flour and stuff. They ground our own wheat for flour. But sugar, you had to have coupons to get that. You could only get so much at a time. Then you had to use syrup and stuff like that
Mhm.
to sweeten things.
Yeah.
Now, we remember the rationing days, that's
Yeah.
for sure.
What did kids do to help the war effort?
Did kids do anything to help the war effort? How did kids react to the war?
I don't know.
You were probably a little bit older by then.
They paid too much attention to it or not.
They didn't? Go ahead, Katie.
Do you remember the day World War II ended? What would you describe it like?
The day it ended, World War II. Do you remember the day it
Oh,
ended?
yes.
Was that a big day?
Yeah. We had church services and everything, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, let's see where we're at here.
Do you remember the assassination of John F. Kennedy?
Do you remember when President Kennedy was assassinated?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was varnishing in my bedroom, varnishing doors when
Saw it right
heard
on
that.
television at the window.
So you had a television. When'd you get your first TV?
1948 maybe, somewhere in that, like that.
Black and white?
Yeah, first one was.
These kids don't know what that is. Black and white TV.
I know what it is.
You do?
What about landing on the moon? Do you remember anything about that? The landing on the moon?
When we landed on the moon, do you remember that day?
Yeah.
Watch that on TV too, probably?
Watched that on TV too.
Yeah. Was that exciting, or was
Yeah.
it just another day?
Yeah, it was exciting. I had see somebody up there on the moon, and never thought that was possible.
Do you remember any important historical events in Highlands history?
Any other events in Highland history that you remember? Big events in Highlands history?
Oh, let's see. I don't know if there was anything very exciting about Highland.
How about celebrations? Were there ever celebrations in the park?
Yeah,
Or
4th of July, they always had 4th of July celebrations and fireworks and all that sort of stuff. And served food and whatnot.
school burned? Yeah. Do you want to ask that one? Okay. Do you remember when the school burned?
High school?
When the high school burned?
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened there?
I don't know what started it. I never found out.
Were you going to school at that time?
No.
No?
I graduated in 36. School burned in 46.
Okay.
So I was out of school 10 years by that time.
Another Highland fire. The kids are surprised at all the fires in Highland. How many buildings have burned
Yeah.
in Highland? Yeah, that always surprises them.
That's what you're in church,
Do you remember your first car?
Your first car. Do you remember your first car?
First car?
Yep.
Oh, let's see. Was a 39 Chevrolet.
Do you remember how much it cost?
Yeah, about $600.
What was the price of gas?
Well, when we were going to high school, you'd drive up the pump and you'd put $1 worth in when you got maybe 15 gallon or something like that.
Katie, you look shocked.
It didn't stay there very long because it got expensive.
How did you get your news?
How did you get your news?
News,
Like,
Yeah.
did you have radio, TV, newspaper?
radio, TV. Yeah,
What'd you listen to on the radio?
usually the Dodgeville station. They get the local news there. And the TV gives us the state news and then national news, so
Before you got your TV, did you listen to the radio a lot? Did you
Yeah.
listen to programs on the radio? What kind of programs did you listen to?
Gunsmoke and all that sort of stuff.
Amos and Andy.
That's good.
How about Bonanza?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
watched
they had
that
one
too.
in Bonanza.
Watched all them. Oh, and we didn't watch them, but we listened to them.
Were there any snowstorms or ice storms stuck in your memory?
Any big snowstorms or ice storms that stick in your mind?
Yeah.
We want to hear about them.
Yeah,
We
we did
had-
that out home too, and they get hard as a rock. And you drive over them with a tractor. They didn't even sink in with the tractor.
The snow
So
drifts?
hard. Had a lot of wind there, and so it packed them real hard. Yeah, up one year we had a bad one out there. It was awful deep.
Yeah, we had one, we had an ice storm and took all the telephone and the power line down along 80, when was that? What, 76 or something like that. And I was driving milk truck at that time too.
Ooh. That couldn't have been fun.
No. And then another time was the 9th of April or something. We had a snowstorm. I started out in the morning. I got 3 farms picked up, I think, and then I run off the road right. So happened I run off the road up here by Dax's. And so I could walk home at least, and I couldn't get out of there for 2 or 3 days, so
What'd they do with the milk then?
I don't know, the farmers kept it in their tank, kept it in the truck tank. I don't think it froze or anything. When they got the roads plowed out, then I had to go to work.
Yeah, I bet you did. Make up for your time off.
Yeah.
What did you do after you finished school?
Pardon?
What did you do after you finished school?
Did you start farming right away after
Yeah.
you finished school?
Yeah.
Did you have any children?
Oh, I think he answered that one already.
Yeah.
Maybe you could ask him who he married so we can get her full name again.
Who did you marry? Who did you marry?
Who did you marry? Could you introduce your wife again? I'm not sure we got her full name on here.
Yeah, that's Helen.
Okay.
I married her in South Dakota.
So you got married in South Dakota?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That was where my
Of
home
course,
was, our
yeah.
church, in our church that I went to all my life.
Yeah. So did a lot of people from the Highland area travel to South Dakota for the wedding?
That's quite a few.
Really? And then you moved right back here. Then you came
Yeah.
back here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
The day after we were married, I think we traveled, didn't we, already?
huh?
No, the day after we were married, we had our pictures taken.
Yeah.
Then the next day, I think, is when we left already, didn't we?
No, we stayed a week, I think.
Or did we? I can't remember.
And then you had to get back to milk the cows?
Yeah.
Yep.
What's Helen's full name? Or what was her married name? Or not married name?
Maiden.
Who?
Maiden name.
Hers?
Yep.
Villauer.
Helen Dorothy Vilhauer. Vilhauer.
How did you get involved in the Highland community as an adult?
Were you involved in the community a lot, or what did you do with the church? I know you were quite involved with the church.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that a little bit?
I was treasurer of the church for 50 years.
And which church was that?
Lutheran church.
Christ Lutheran.
I was Sunday school superintendent 35 years.
Do you guys know which church that is? That's the
The-
little white church on the corner?
On top of the hill
On
there.
the, yep, okay.
Oh, that one.
The one by my house.
I didn't think anybody used that anymore.
Yeah, that still is
I
used.
thought it was just there because
No?
it was like a landmark.
No.
I thought it,
And did you take care of the cemetery too? Was that part of your job?
What?
Did you take care of the cemetery?
Yeah, I was president of the public cemetery for about 20 years, I guess. I was the director for more years. But then when I got sick and I couldn't make it to the meeting, they got somebody else to take over.
Sounds like you were quite busy for a while.
Yeah.
are there any other stories that you would like to share with us about your life in Highland?
Any other stories that you'd like to share with us?
Let's see.
Or guys, do you have any other questions that didn't come up?
I can't think now.
What was the best thing about raising a family on a farm?
Well, they grew up and was right around home all the time, and then could eat meals together and stuff like that. But nowadays you
One thing
have
in
to
there,
eat and run or whatever. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I know.
best place to raise a child on a farm. It's more private, and the area is quiet, and you can get around.
And I think they learn how to work.
Yeah, and learn how to work.
Mhm.
That's for sure.
All right. Anything else? Otherwise, what time is it? Yeah, we probably have to go soon. We have a few more minutes if you have any other stories. Do you have a question? Go ahead. Go ahead.
What were your brothers' names?
My brother's name? My name was Helen, and my oldest brother's name was Marlon John, and then was my sister Mildred, then was my second brother was Clarence, and the youngest brother was Wallace.
Okay. Leland, did you have any brothers or sisters?
I had a older brother and an older sister,
And what were their names?
Lillian and Laverne.
Are they in the Highland area? Did they stay in the Highland area?
Yeah,
Lillian did, but Laverne
he was.
moved to Dubuque afterward.
Okay.
Yeah, Laverne lived in Highland for quite a long time, and then
He had a business in
moved to
Highland,
Dubuque.
welding business in Highland for quite a while,
Okay.
until he got married this last time and then he moved to Dubuque.
Okay. You guys have any other questions? Things you're curious about?
Did you have any pets?
Did you have any pets?
Pets?
Pets. Dogs, cats,
Yeah.
gerbils.
Yeah,
Yeah.
always had dogs and
Yeah.
cats running around there.
Well, we just want to thank you for taking the time to let us come and talk to you.
Yeah.
What do you guys say?
You should have gave us some of
Thank
those
you.
questions. We could have had a little time to think
Oh,
about them.
you did great.
We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you allowing us to interview you and come in your home. Thanks for giving us some of your time.
Well, I'm sorry I can't hear better, but
Oh, it was
It's
great.
okay.
These kids need to learn how to speak up a little.
had somebody to help.